This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Carter and welcoming you to a special Sports Catastrophe video. Now, due to the fact I could not find a sports event, or birthday for August 10th, I end up on one of the rarest days of all, a non-sports catastrophe on this day or birthday boy. So probably a few more coming up soon, but yeah, that's weird how I have nothing. So anyway, I decided to use today's platform for August 10th as a recap of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics that just finished up a couple days ago. So the 2020 Summer Olympics are the 32nd Summer Olympiad in history. It was held from July 23rd to August 8th. Tokyo won the event in the host process in 2013. It was supposed to take place last year from July 24th to August 9th, 2020, but because of the COVID pandemic, they had to be rescheduled. In fact, this was the first time in Olympic Games history that an Olympics was actually rescheduled. There have been a lot of cancellations due to World War I, World War II, but yeah, anyway. So the event retained the Tokyo 2020 name because of many things, marketing purposes. It was behind closed doors with no spectators permitted due to the state of emergency in Tokyo. Soon the Summer Paralympics will be coming up. But anyway, Japan got their 4th Olympics. Tokyo 1964, Sapporo 1972, and Nagano 1998. Well, summer, winter, respectively. They were supposed to have the 1940 Summer Olympics somehow, but they got into that Chinese-Japanese war. Tokyo was the first Asian city to host the Summer Games twice. In fact, these Olympics in Tokyo were the second of 3 consecutive Olympics to be held in East Asia. South Korea got the Winter Olympics. Now Japan got the Summer Games. And the next Olympics are the 2022 Winter Games in Beijing, assuming they go ahead as scheduled. Will happen in February, I think. When do they? February 8th or something? Oh, they start February 4th. I thought they would start February 8th because of the whole Chinese number 8 thing. Yeah, this is like unbelievable. Beijing will be the first city to host both the Summer and Winter Olympics. I'm surprised that Beijing, of all countries, was that way. Because like there were countries like Helsinki and Moscow hosting Summer Games. Why couldn't they host Winter Games? Anyway, the 2020 Games introduced new competitions like 3-on-3 basketball, freestyle BMX, and even mixed gender team events in a number of sports. The Japanese Olympic Committee added baseball, softball, karate, sport climbing, surfing, and skateboarding. I'm actually shocked that skateboarding never was an Olympic sport. I thought it was in 2008 it started. But anyway. The United States won the medal count by gold and by total medals with 39 to 113. China would be second behind the U.S. in that regard. Russia, I'm actually surprised at how bad Russia did. Usually they are behind the U.S., but China is becoming power. Japan took 3rd place, setting records for gold medals and total medals by the country. Great Britain took 4th, and Russia took 5th. 3 countries won their first ever gold medals: Bermuda, the Philippines, and Qatar. Qatar was high jump, Philippines was, I think, weightlifting, and Bermuda, I can't remember what it was. But anyway, Burkina Faso, San Marino, and Turkmenistan won their first ever Olympic medals. So Tokyo beat Istanbul and Madrid to get the Summer Olympics. There had to be a runoff to find out who would face Tokyo. Tokyo won round 1, but Istanbul and Madrid, there was a runoff, and Istanbul would face Tokyo. Tokyo won. Olympics. Of course, the COVID pandemic ruining everyone, all that. This was the second straight Summer Olympics that had troubles with a virus. The Zika virus ruined people's perceptions of Rio in 2016 at the Summer Olympics. COVID-19 didn't have an effective vaccine till December 2020. Anyway, there was a lot of effects on things. They had to postpone to 2021. So March 30th, the IOC decided to move the games to 2021. Yeah, and then weirdly, you got the Winter Olympics that were supposed to start in about 6 months. There were a lot of calls for cancellation. I mean, public support fell flat, and who could blame them? And especially with the fact that there would be no fans allowed to be at the events, that caused a lot of problems. Had the games been canceled, it actually would have cost Japan more than 4.5 trillion yen, aka 41.5 billion American. That was amazing. I watched yesterday the top 10 Olympic host cities to go bankrupt, having a financial crisis, and Montreal, I kind of figured it was top 3. It won the thing. It was number 1. Olympic Stadium and the bad infrastructure and all that. Vancouver was 4th. That shows how much things were bad. Calgary, I think, would be top 10 on the other side of the coin. But anyway, there would be a lot of cost and all that. Ticket sales would have helped Japan out with $800 million American, but now they're close to zero. Public opinion after the games has changed. There was an opinion poll saying that 38% of respondents said that the Tokyo Olympics could have been held in a safe manner, and 55% said it was not. But 64% of people said that it was good that the Olympics were held, compared to 28% who said it should not have been held, and 8% were undecided. A lot of people actually said that once Japanese athletes got a lot of medals, then people's perceptions changed because, it was good for Japan. So preparing for an Olympics that had to deal with COVID, it was not easy. Venues and infrastructure. Tokyo's National Stadium had to go through a renovation for the 2019 Rugby World Cup and the 2020 Summer Olympics. The National Stadium was actually the central figure for the 64 Olympics, but it took a renovation. It was 65,000 seats and all that. Unfortunately, they had to redesign it, and that meant that the new stadium couldn't be part of the Rugby World Cup, but was part of the Tokyo Games. They said that the total cost of the Olympic venues would exceed 25 billion American. So the IOC actually changed things and relocated the marathon and race walking events to support for heat concerns. There were a lot of volunteers and security, medals. Torch relay happened. Through the torch and all that. The torch was placed in a special lantern in Fukushima, and then later transferred to Tokyo because they had to restart the relay in a sense. They they would reset the torch relay for March of 2021 where it ended at Fukushima. And Naomi Osaka was the heroine lighting the Olympic flame. There was actually some cultural festivals, including a 2-day exhibition sumo tournament at the Kokigan to help foreigners out. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. The only ceremony seemed to be good and all that. Emperor Naruhito opened the games. So there were a lot of Olympic sports, mostly for the youth appeal. All that. So 206 countries qualified. Canada sent 381 athletes. The Americans sent 613 by. So the final medal thing, based on gold medals, the United States won with China, Japan, Great Britain, and Russia. Canada took 11th, if memory serves me right. So, yeah, Canada took 7 golds for 11th place, which wasn't bad. I think they would have been 11th in total medal count. Yeah. In total medal count, they would have been 11th. Yeah, they were 11th in medal count with 24, just 3 ahead of Brazil. So, yeah, they were 9 back of Holland, France for 10th. But, yeah, great times had by all. But, yeah, the 2027 Olympics were very unusual. And at least they're over, and not too many controversies happened. Although some Americans would probably be angry with the fact that Simone Biles pulled out of many events in gymnastics. She's one of the best gymnasts in all the world. And she had problems. But then it was revealed that her aunt died, and people were just like, okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. So anyway, yeah, the Olympics were great. For Canada, it was great. 7 golds, not the highest gold medal total in a non-boycotted Olympics, I think, in Summer Olympics history. I think we've had a few better than that. But 24 medals, that's the most. The other time we got past 24 medals was 1984 when, the Soviet bloc countries didn't take part and Canada did well. So, yeah. Who can forget? The biggest moment for in the Canadian Olympics was the Olympic women's soccer team. They had to beat Brazil on penalty kicks to get to the semifinals. And in the semis, they took on the old war enemy, USA, and beat them 1-0 in a tight game. And then had to beat Sweden in a very tense final. I can tell you that. Watching the final live at work. Well, it was supposed to be at like 10 p.m. on the Thursday, but because of the heat exhaustion, it moved to 8 p.m. 8 a.m. on Friday morning, where a lot of Canadians had to work. So, yeah, I got lucky. I got to watch it. And, it was amazing to see Canada win the gold. The penalty shootout, I thought for sure Sweden had it because all they had to do was score on their 5th kick and Canada would have been fucked. But they missed the kick and then Canada made theirs. Well, they still had to make their kick. And guess what? The Olympics. Guess what? Canada won a gold medal. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that's all there was to it. Anyway, that's the end of that. I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.